welcome to Women's Wealth, the podcast with me, Joanne. My mission is to educate, inspire, and empower you all to step into your own life of wealth. That feeling of being so rich in your mind, body, and soul. I'm so happy to have you here. Let's get straight into it. Hello. Welcome to another episode of Women's Wealth, the podcast. My name is Joanne. I'm your host. I am so happy and grateful that you are here. If you are returning, thank you. And if you've just managed to find my podcast, welcome. I'm on the road to 10,000 downloads. I've set myself this little target. There's no big prize at the end. It's just a little bit of a dream to get to 10,000, be a 10,000 download podcast. And then who knows what comes after that. I'm not quite sure myself, but yeah, let's get that 10,000 together. And today I'm on my own, of course. I do have a lot of guest podcasts ready and I have a huge guest list, but I had so many ideas that I wanted to record and felt like I just wanted to get them out there. I just wanted to share. So I'm having a month where it's just me on the podcast and my guests will return, I guess at the end of May, I think. Let's do 4. I'm going to do 4 solos in a row. So thank you for coming. And today I'm going to talk about stress and ask you the question, are you addicted to stress? And when I've been planning this podcast in my head this week and just making my notes, I've not been able to stop singing. I'm going to sing. It might be the first time on the podcast. Might as well face it, you're addicted to stress. Might as well face it, you're addicted to stress. I don't think I'm getting any, no qualms that I'm going to get in any copyright laws there. But are you? I'm asking you the question. Are you addicted to stress? Because I think a lot of us, myself included, my old self, probably are. We are. I was. Am I still? I don't think so. And I'm going to help you guys to break that addiction, hopefully today, because it's something, and I believe, this is just my opinion, I believe that we're kind of being pushed into this stress addiction just by being alive in 2024, because there's so many things going on in the world. And a little bit of me, maybe this is a conspiracy. I really want to do a conspiracy theory episode, actually, but a little bit of conspiracy / opinion. Are the powers that be keeping us stressed? Because that's when we're vulnerable. That's when we need them. That's when we need rules, regulations. That's when we need to be told what to do and how to live. That's when we need medication. That's when we need doctors. That's when we're sick. So if there's something that's being fed to us, is a stressed out society just a way of keeping us doing as we're told? So my thoughts come from my conspiracy there. My thoughts, my opinion, comes from the media there. And again, I know I say this all of the time, but if you've not listened to any podcasts, I don't listen to the news or watch the news. I have my ways of finding out what's going on in the world as much as I need to know to keep myself away from the stress of it. However, my partner, he watches the news. And just the other day we had, I can't remember what news he had on. Maybe he was watching the UK news, and there wasn't one happy story. Not one. And this is when I was thinking about why. And I am sure that when I was younger, a child, there was always some weird, happy little story at the end that they would put on, like some boys got the most, I don't know, biggest stamp collector in the Midlands. I'm from the UK and the Midlands. You know, there'd be some weird and wonderful story. Someone was 100, they celebrated their 100th birthday, you know, something along those lines. Someone rescued a cat from a tree. They don't exist, not on the news that that my partner has on. And it's all doom and gloom, all of it. Stabbings, murders, wars, cost of living crisis. And even that in itself, the cost of living crisis, has a nice ring to it. It's alliteration. And if you remember and think back to other times, we had the war on terror. We had, what was the other one I was just thinking about? The recession. There's names that the media give to these things that, they sound good. They're not good, but they're catchy. And these are kind of then pushed down our throats if we watch the news. This is rising, that is rising, they need to do this. And of course, these things are happening, but the way that the news reports it, I feel, is keeping our stress levels at a certain height. Now, think about this as energy and vibration. So the lowest vibrational energies, feelings are all, as you can imagine, the negative emotions, negative thoughts, negative feelings. They're all low vibration. High vibration is love, gratitude. So if everyone's walking around being grateful and they're loving and they are happy and joyful and all of the happy things. And as you can see, as I'm talking about those, if you're watching on YouTube, my hand is going high. They're high vibration. The low vibration, my hand came down. So even just that, we have that feeling. So if we're looking at this from a spiritual, energetic vibration point of view, the news is low vibration. When we're running at a low vibration, we attract low vibration. We live within low vibration. So just bear with me with this. So we then, whatever state we are used to living in, so we're used to being in a low vibration, this then becomes our norm. So anything outside of that feels weird. And we go back to what we know. We go back to the thing that we're addicted to. And this is where the stress addiction comes from, because it's our normal state, because this is what we're being fed by media, news outlets, mainstream media, even other people, workplaces. So just thinking to your day today, how many times has there been something high vibe put in front of you? Are you listening to the radio? Is it happy, in the car? Are you listening to your music? What are the words in the music? Are they high vibe or are they low vibration? Are they angry songs? Are they, some music that we listen to? It might be good music, but when you actually listen to the words, it's killing, stabbing, other things, degrading, that kind of thing. So this is all feeding into our normal state. So then if our normal state is stress, that's what we're going to be addicted to. That's what we want. That's what makes us feel comfortable. Now, what is stress? And we use the term stress flippantly sometimes as well. Oh, I'm just a bit stressed, and we'll flick it out. Oh, God, this is stressing me out as an annoyance. Stress is a state, and it's a state that we can go to the doctors and they might diagnose you with stress. It can be an emotion. So yes, we kind of throw it around as things are stressing us out and we feel stressed, but it's something that we live with. And of course, people are actually stressed. We live in a 24/7 society. People expect things from us 24/7. We have mobile phones, social media, instant responses are expected from people, emails, receiving emails from work when we're not at work, traffic, working 9 to 5, hour traffic here and there, getting home if you have children, feeding the children. It's a constant repeat every single day. We don't have enough time for downtime. We don't have enough time for ourselves. We don't have enough time to just step away and enjoy and relax unless we have to fit it in our schedules. We're literally running around like, what's the saying? Running around like blue or fly all the time. And when you think about it, that we have to schedule in nights in, afternoons in, chilling out on the sofa, And but how many of you actually really chill out on the sofa? We have another addiction that is in our hand most of the day. We have our mobile phone in our hands, which again can cause stress. How many of you have been on your mobile phone and you think that you're relaxing? You're just scrolling through social media. What you're actually doing is taking in everything that you're being told on social media. You may see something on there that annoys you, something triggers you, a news story, and then you go on a rabbit hole and you're reading, and then your stress levels are increasing, your cortisol levels are increasing. But then is that kind of a dopamine hit as well there because you're being able to do this from the comfort of your own home? It's an adrenaline rush. It's a need for drama. It's a need for stress. Look at when we hear a noise in the street and we might run to the window to look out of the window. We enjoy watching stress, other people's stress. It's, I can't remember what it's called now, but it's just a natural human reaction. This is why when we see an accident on the motorway, that we rubberneck, because it's a natural human reaction. We're morbidly, what's the word? It's like a morbid interest. I can't remember now. So the addiction to stress then, and I want you to just reflect on the way that you live your life. And when things are nice and calm, are you then seeking out more stress? Because this nice and calm feeling, emotion, vibration doesn't sit with you because you're used to being stressed. And we go out and we actually make our own stress and we look for things to stress about. And I just want you to, so I've got some examples here. Some signs of stress addiction. You're quick to go angry. You're quick to jump to angry, when things don't go your way or the time frame that you need them. So if someone's making you wait, if you ring to take your car to the car garage and they say they haven't got any spaces for a week, are you the person that says, okay, no worries, and hangs up the phone? Or are you the person that wants it done right here, right now? And for me, this is one of the things that I've had to sort of step away from. And in Dubai, this is what I feel one of the biggest stresses. I can't speak for other places. Maybe other places are like this now, but everything's so fast paced here. And you get used to it being so fast paced that you actually become impatient. So when you're told that you have to wait for something, that natural reaction of stress because you want it right now comes to the forefront, and then you're angry. And I felt myself dipping a toe into this when having to wait for things and having to teach myself that this is not a reason to step into that emotion of stress. This is not a reason to be stressed. But my natural addiction, because I was addicted to stress at those times, was to become angry, to demand, to try and not demand and make myself sound really awful here. But and it's like, oh, we have to wait and things take a while, but you don't want, it's an argument. It's looking for that stress. It's something to be stressed about. An example I will give for myself is a couple of years ago, I had a problem at the bank. And yes, it actually took about 6 months to sort out. But for those 6 months, that little bit of stress was a bit of an addiction to me. Writing those emails to let off steam. And I know I wasn't aware at the time, but I know that subconsciously when I was having other things going on, that I was using that as sort of a, why haven't you responded to my email? I've emailed this person and diddled it, and just letting go to the bank. Now, they were in the wrong, but I could have sat back and just left it. But I made sure that I sent an email every week. I know. And that leads me to the next sign. You're intolerant to anyone of anything that falls in short of your highest standards. Exactly what I've just said. So in my eyes then, they should have been responding to me because I was looking, in my eyes, they had my money. And they did. It was a whole situation and I wanted it back, quite rightly. I'm going to stick up for myself there. But there was a process and things are slower when it comes to customer service out here. Some things are very fast. Like I can go onto my phone and order and things come to the house very quickly. A manicure, pedicure, massage within the hour. But other things are really slow. And I was addicted to that stress there. And they weren't living up to my expectations of how customer service should be. That I shouldn't have to wait 6 months for you to give my money back that you took mistakenly. And honestly, I was addicted to this situation. I was, and I was addicted to this stress. And it was the time when I was addicted to having some kind of drama in my life. It was when I was going through my very anxious period as well. So it was all just my normal state of having things to worry about. And if there wasn't something, I was going to find it. So just have a little think, see if there's anything that you can pick up that you find that you're doing as well. This one, I can't personally relate to, but it's interesting. You're always late, and I need the stress of running late to wake you up to get you where you're going. You might even find yourself dawdling, so you have to run to get the bus, the train, you're late for work. I know friends like this that seem to thrive on having to rush out of the door. It's the only way that they get out of the door. But again, it's that adrenaline. It's that, yes, I made it, and you've done it. And it's that addiction to it. And it's the addiction of being stressed and running around the house like a mad person. And, is that you? Do you thrive on that? Are you that person that is running out of the door 10 seconds before you need to, just so you're then rushing around because you secretly, subconsciously, it's something that you're addicted to. You like that feeling. It gets you there. You love the thrill of a deadline. Now, some people use this as a positive, that they are, they work well with deadlines and they leave it to the last point. That's a sign of a stress addiction. It's the same as leaving the house late. Having that little bit of stress to get it going. You need the deadline. You're going to work right up into the deadline. You're not going to get it done 3 weeks before, so it's done. It's that little bit of stress there. Again, I'm a little bit, no, I'm too organized. I am organized there. And I don't think I've ever had that kind of stress addiction.
Just interrupting this episode to remind you to please like, subscribe, drop 5 stars if you enjoy listening to my podcast. It really does mean the world to me. And also to remind you, you can now watch every episode on my YouTube channel. Head to YouTube, type in Joanne Wellth, and I'll see you there.
Someone asks how you are, and your reply is stressed, busy, and we wear it as a badge of honor. And you feel proud that you're too busy. And this is one that I hear a lot, especially when I was coaching, that, I haven't got time. Like, people don't have time, 10 minutes to do a meditation, 10 minutes to go for a walk. And when we really break it down, personally, I think it's really sad, because at some point we're not going to be able to do the things that we want to have 10 minutes for. So, having this, oh my God, I'm so stressed, as a badge of honor. Again, it's that addiction, but it's what we're fed. And in your workplace, it might be the same. You may be fed from your workplace of this element of stress, the deadlines and getting things done, and it's just the way that it needs to be. It doesn't. Your diary is so busy and you're secretly pleased you have friends waiting for your social windows to become free. Again, we prioritize, because of the stress addiction, being busy and not seeing friends. And, again, it goes back to that badge of honor of, I'm too busy, I'm going to have to fit you in. And being addicted, we need to let go of this. It should be the opposite way around, that we have time for ourselves. You hate weekends without back-to-back social engagements. Again, this one I can't resonate with, but I'm sharing it because I know that I have people who say this to me, who listen to the podcast, who can't be alone. When I've mentioned that I am fine 4 or 5 hours alone on my own all weekend, I'm fine on my own. I don't mind not having plans. Some weekends, the thought of having plans is like, oh no, I just want to be in my bubble, my stress-free bubble, and not have anything to do. I was just saying yesterday, actually, I can't wait for the summer, and I just want a day when we go on holiday and not leaving the hotel, the villa, wherever we are, and just doing absolutely nothing. And to some people, that is a nightmare for them. They have to be doing, they have to be around people, they have to be constantly stimulated. They need those dopamine hits. They can't put their social media away, all feeding into this stress. And another one, a fear that you will, if you stop, then you don't know what you're going to do. And it's the busyness that is keeping you from maybe facing some truth, is filling your life with all of these things and all of this stress, actually covering up, or you're using it as a plaster to hide some things that you don't want to admit. Maybe there's problems in relationships, not only with other people, but with yourself. And just asking yourself this, going through these points that I've just said. And if you're like, oh my God, that's me, or oh my God, that's me, it's okay. Like I said, we're fed this media baggage of, you need to feel stressed, you need to be busy, you need to be worried about this is going on, that is going on, World War III, all of these things. When you watch the news, like, whoa, we need to slow down, we need to take a step back from it. So if you answered yes to any of those things above, then maybe you do have a stress addiction. I can't diagnose you through the podcast, but continue to listen and you'll find out how you can work on those things. So when physically, biologically, when we're in this state of mind, when we're in this addiction of stress, we're then going to start noticing that there's an array of problems. I'm just going to bring a few. First of all, we're going to be playing with our insulin levels, our cortisol levels, which are going to affect, and in women, our hormones, as in our cycles. We might have heavy periods, more likely missed periods when it comes to stress, problems with losing weight. When you are stressed, I'm going to forget the science terms for it now, but I read a study, and the neuroscientist went into a corporate environment, and she knew straight away it was a stressful environment to work, from where the weight is stored on the body. Men and women, the band. On women, we might call it a muffin top or love handles. That area, that is stress weight. So our body is holding on to weight, to fat there. That is our stress weight. There's a name for it. I should have written this down, but that is stress. So just have a look at yourself in the mirror. Have you got stress weight? And the scientist who shared this did actually say that when she was addressing the corporate employees, that one of the corporate employees, put their hand and said, so, and pointing to the boss, the manager, the CEO, or whoever. So he's the reason that I'm fat. And it was kind of a tongue-in-cheek joke. However, nobody laughed. And because it was true. So she spoke to the woman after, I think it was a woman, and asked, what are your stress levels like? And she just said through the roof. And the neuroscientist then went on to talk about how our bodies store fat, and depending on what stress levels are, they will store around the tummy. So if you're struggling with that area and you're eating right, you're working out, you're doing all of the exercises, it might be stress. So you need to look at your stress levels. You need to look at the way that you're breathing. I posted a Wellth Wednesday a few weeks ago, so if you head to my YouTube, just about connecting with the breath, because that's the first place that you can go to to release stress. Now, again, you haven't got time, getting well costs money, breathing is free. You can do breath work while you're sat at your desk at work. So just taking time to just sit, to breathe, to come to your breath. And it's science. It's, we need our breath. When we're in fight or flight, when we're in our panic, our heart rate increases, our breath becomes short, sharp, and shallow. How do we breathe when we're stressed? Short, sharp, and shallow. So we're in that constant fight or flight all of the time. So by slowing down your breath, by coming to your breath, you're taking yourself out of fight or flight. That's exactly where we need to be. We are then, pick this little guy off. Ugh, he's trying to eat the wire, so I'm just picking it up. So we need to come back. Meditation. Again, this is another thing I hear all of the time. I don't have time to meditate. I don't have 10 minutes in the morning. Wake up 10 minutes earlier. Meditation is free. Wake up 10 minutes earlier, get out of bed, put yourself on the sofa, pop the kettle on, close your eyes. It doesn't have to be a guided meditation. It doesn't have to be with music. It can just be you closing down your eyes. That is enough. That's going to help your stress levels at the start of the day. We also need to learn how to set boundaries. How many of you have your work email on your phone? This is something that I did years ago. I remember being out. It was before I moved to Dubai. That's how long ago it was. So longer than 8 years ago. And I was getting emails, data from school. And I was literally in a nightclub raving my socks off. And I looked at my phone and I was like, what? And it was that moment then I took Outlook out. I took Outlook off my phone because I was like, this is not on. But I know a lot of people that still have their work emails on their phones. And when I see it, I'm like, oh, and they're replying to work emails and they're just checking them on a Sunday. And it's not just checking. It's not just checking. It's not like looking out of the window just to see if it's raining. It's checking in with work. It's keeping your mind at work when you should be focused on yourself at the weekends. We're not here to work 24/7. And if you know that your stress levels are high and you struggle to switch off, you need to set those boundaries. You need to put on an out of office if you need to. I only answer emails 9 to 5. When I was teaching just a few years ago and we switched over to online and everything was online, my status was I only reply to students in school time. Because I would have students, I didn't have it on my phone, but I would go to my desk the next day, sending me messages at 9 o'clock at night. What was the homework? Excuse me, I'm in bed. You should have wrote that down. Now, if I didn't, if I hadn't have set those boundaries, that would have mean that I was working, I don't know, from 7 in the morning till 9 at night, 10 at night when the students were messaging me. And one of them did actually ask me, Miss, why don't you reply to us when we message you? Because it's out of school. You can't just contact your doctor and speak to your doctor at any time. They have boundaries. We can't just drop them a message. Hi, this is how I'm feeling. We have to go through the right channels because, yes, I know doctors are stressed, but just coming from this point of view, if your employer is messaging you, asking you to do things, sending emails, just flip it. Doctors are lifesavers and we can't just keep checking in with them, sending them how we feel. They have time to switch off. They wait until surgery hours. That's the way that it works. And that's to protect doctors, their work-life balance, their stress levels. So setting your boundaries. So your breath, meditation, setting boundaries. The fourth way, and I'm sure you probably, if you listen to my podcast, you may know that what I'm going to say here, get outside, put your phone away, go outside, go for a walk, listen to a podcast. Yes, I know you need your phone for that, but put your phone in your pocket and don't look at it. Don't scroll. Listen to your favorite music. Even better, if your favorite music is quite stressful, listen to meditation music as you're walking along. And what I mean by stressful music is sometimes the songs that we listen to, yes, music is amazing, sound is amazing, it can be very healing and bring back memories, but some songs may bring back bad memories. You know, have you got a breakup song? Is that going to come on your shuffle? Is that going to bring stressful thoughts and feelings back because it was a stressful time that you were going through or an upsetting time? So maybe switch from your usual playlist and, give yourself a break. You might be thinking, I'm not going to listen to meditation music, but just try it. This stuff works. Even better, don't take anything. Go for a walk, get outside, listen to the birds. And again, you might think, oh, airy fairy. But when you're doing it, there's nothing to be mad at when you're just out there having a walk, listening to the birds, watching the world go by, and you're doing this for you. On Instagram, you see those social media posts, going for a walk for my stupid mental health. It's a thing. We are nature. We are one with nature. We need to be in nature. We were designed, you know what I mean by that. We're meant to spend 65% of our lives outside. I can't remember the number, what we actually do, but it's not that. How much time have you been outside today? And this is why I struggle actually in the summer in Dubai, because it's too hot to go outside. Even just today, I had the window open. I normally have the window open in my office and it's just blowing. It's like having the oven open. And it's getting to that point where last year, the year before, I wasn't too great at looking after my levels here. So I would just stay in the house and it would pull me down and I would feel sad, upset, angry, stressed. The easy medicine for that was just to go outside in the moonlight. And it's something that I didn't do. And my emotional health, mental health paid for it. This year, I'm already on it. I went for a moonlight swim last night to get me out of the house, to make sure that my stress levels don't creep up. So I'm just going to repeat these: breath work, free of charge; meditation, free of charge; getting out in nature, free of charge; setting boundaries and turning off emails and whatever else it is you need to do to set that boundary, free of charge. All of these things free of charge to support your stress and stress levels and stop your stress addiction. That's what we need to do. The last one, start playing around with essential oils. Lavender is extremely calming. Adding this into some kind of self-care routine. Finding an essential oil. You can really use essential oils intuitively. So if I'm feeling a little bit, I don't know, I'll just get my essential oils out, smell them, go to the one that I'm drawn to, and just take a moment, put it within my hands, taking a nice big inhale, and just allowing myself just to slow down, just to release whatever that stress is that I can feel bubbling up inside me. And taking that time to do that. Taking time for yourself is also going to help that addiction. Become addicted to looking after yourself, taking time for yourself. That doesn't mean become addicted to sitting on the sofa and watching Netflix, because you see that as taking time for yourself, making sure that it's something healing, something loving, something that's going to actually help you to feel better, to release that addiction. And seeing stress as an addiction, like any other addiction, whether it's a sugar addiction, whether you're a smoker, whether it's, alcohol, what else can we be addicted to? Drugs. There's so many things, caffeine. We have to break the cycle. And when we're trying to break an addiction, we have to put a stop to that cycle. We have to break the chain. And by doing these things one by one, one at a time, slowly, just to break that chain of addiction of stress. You're going to put the spanner in the stress work. And that's what you want. You want to break it up. So just have a little bit of a reflection time after listening to today's podcast, and look where in your life you feel that you're holding on to stressful situations. And it might not even be your stressful situation. It might be that you're addicted to other people's, and you know, you're being a good friend. Are you asking your friends, oh, tell me what's going on with XYZ? But then you're taking on their chaos, their stress, because you're addicted. You want to absorb it from them. And yes, of course, check in on your friends, but you can just ask them, is everything okay with the situation? And try and just curb the amount of information that's given over, so that you're not taking on that secondary stress. Breath work. After you finish listening to this podcast, I want you to just breathe, reflect, see where you're at, and start breaking your stress cycle. And that's it for today. So thank you for listening, or thank you for watching, and I will be back next week.